I was interviewed on a podcast recently and asked, how are we going to be going back to live events? I recently spoke about how I think event goers are going to start to be a lot more strategic in terms of deciding which events to go back to in person and which ones to stick with online. And if we consider the sustainability point of view, which I think a lot of people are now starting to take, it is really crazy and wasteful to spend the kind of money that we do on hotels and travel, not to mention the carbon footprint going to an event can deliver compared to just sitting here at our desk and going to an event. It is going to be harder, I think, for everyone to justify going to an in-person event. So we are only really going to choose the ones that will wow us, that will give us all the bells and whistles and impressive networking opportunities. Of course, you can't replicate the relationship you can create with a key client, by actually sitting down with them, having a drink with them, breaking bread with them. But you can get an awful lot from using video, online, virtual events, certainly a lot of the groundwork and initial conversations and interactions, so that if you're clever, you can do that at some virtual events and then keep your powder dry for the really key events that you are going to turn up for in person. I think you're then going to be a lot more savvy and economical with what for most of us is the key asset that we're always striving for, time. And it's worth realizing as well that some of the networking facilities that are on offer on some digital platforms and event platforms are really, really amazing. And not everyone gets to see them because a lot of us are just doing the standard events on Zoom. But I was on a platform recently where it was literally like speed dating in terms of networking in a little room. You're popped on there with the total stranger for 10 or 15 minutes, longer, it depends what the organizer has chosen. And it's fascinating. I absolutely loved it. After an hour, I had met 6 completely different people in my industry from all over the world, had some great collaborative conversations. I have worked with some of those people since, all from little online networking chats. And it was hearing about all the issues that they're having, learning about all the kind of cultural differences for events and how lockdown was affecting them. And it's, I formed some really great contacts from that one meeting. That was an hour sitting at my desk. I didn't have to go anywhere. And I've made, contacts and collaborations that I would never otherwise have met. And the fact that I felt really engaged and really excited by all these different people and all the different things I heard about their businesses, their experiences and their needs in such a short time was incredible. And the intimacy of it meant that we shared more than you might normally do at a more casual bumping into somebody at an event. It felt very quick and immediate how we connected and made friends. And I think sometimes that makes relationships form quicker because we only had 15 minutes. We weren't going to bump into them again. We knew that we had to make the most of those 15 minutes. And also it's interesting because you haven't had a chance to check people out beforehand like you might do in a real event. They're suddenly there and you start talking to them. None of those kind of weird things, subconscious things that our bodies start to do when we judge someone as they walk towards us. Do we think they're interesting or not? We don't even know we're doing it, but we do it. You can't do that because you're just plopped into this online room with that person and you start talking. And of course, the advantage is that now, if and when I do meet them in real life, there's a bond there that started already. There's a connection between us. We probably will hug each other rather than shake hands, for example. Maybe that's just me, but it will feel like I already know that person because I do. And this is great because, as you know, we always prefer to do business with people that we know and like, and it's just going to reinforce that initial connection with a customer or a client or someone that you might collaborate with. I just think this whole switch from virtual to real life and the mixture of that and hybrid and all these kind of things is going to really change for the better the way that we network and the way that we make connections.